What's up, my dudes? Today I'd like to tell you about these Alden 9916H Indies I got from Alden on Madison in New York City. They're in reverse black earth chamois. Why they call it chamois? They should call it like rawhide or monster trucks. Okay, love me some Alden Indy boots. If you are not familiar, these are based on the original Nazi stompers that got popular from Harrison Ford wearing them in the Indiana Jones movies. There are so many indie makeup collaborations, designs, iterations at this point. Basically any custom thing that you could want on your indie boots, it's just a matter of searching at this point. This is kind of my ideal makeup. I don't know if you could call it a collaboration since it's an Alden store, but they're made to the specs of the Alden Madison store in New York City. Cool store, by the way, because since it's in New York City, they'll do a lot of wild makeups that you wouldn't see at a store like the one in DC, which is closer to me. That one caters a little bit more to the formal, traditional end of the spectrum. Alden, who I've heard from Alden staff never really wanted to go into e-commerce, which is kind of weird, is notorious for their really bad product pictures. So if nothing else, eyeing up things in person is a good call to go into that store just for that reason alone. I like black. I like the rough out look that comes with chamois. Personally, I just don't really like the sound of chamois, but whatever. Monster trucks. These lug soles Alden has are pretty much indestructible. They're the soles that are on the 404 Kudu work boots, and to me, they're the most usable sole. I actually planned on buying another pair of 404s, which are overall probably my favorite piece of footwear, I think. But I saw these when I was in New York, and they had my size, so I snagged them. I replaced the laces with rawhide laces, and I think it just fits the overall aesthetic and vibe a little bit better, at least for me. The laces are on the Alden Madison site, although I wish they were just a little bit slimmer because they kind of fight with the speed hooks a little bit. But setting that aside, they just look more badass now, and I call these the monster truck indies because it just has a way better ring to it. The D9916H. Okay, I would say that I like the look of these better, but the chamois doesn't really have the friendly stretch and give of a chrome excel. So if you're going to get these and do real work, or at least semi-serious hiking, that makes a pretty big difference at the end of the day. I went a half size down for these, which is convention with the True Balance lass, which is what these are made on. There is a complaint out there about Alden's using leatherboard in the sole of their shoes. I'd say a couple things about that because I did a little bit of a deep dive into why they do that. So there are probably a number of reasons, and yes, one of them is that it is slightly cheaper, but also keep in mind that that's lighter and they replace it during the resole. And by the way, Alden resoles are expensive, but they're pretty good in my experience. Most importantly, and this is one thing that I didn't realize, that leatherboard components won't squeak. So for example, I have a pair of White's Cruisers, like them a lot. I have a video on my channel about them, but they do squeak, and I'm not a big fan of that. Especially at work, it's just kind of weird ratings wise, because even though I appreciate that most of style is subjective, I also think it's useful to have metrics so people could kind of get the bottom line of where I stand with stuff. I'll give these a B. To me, the aesthetics and quality are through the roof, but I mainly compare these with Alden's Chrome Excel work boots, and the Chrome Excel is just more functional. These are ideal for someone who is a big fan of Alden's and just kind of wants to switch it up here and there. But if you're going with one pair, I'd recommend stick with the traditional Indy first. Alright, that's all I got. Thanks everybody for watching. What do you think? As always, feel free to speak your mind in the comments. Until next time, peace, my dudes.